and future. What they did in the past, what they are doing in the present, and what they will do in the future. The Quran has everything. What is the perfect way to be a human being? The Quran has it in the Quran. How to be the perfect husband, how to be the perfect wife, how to be a good teacher, how to be a good child to your parent, how to be a good parent to your child. All the great people of the past, the prophets, are all mentioned in the Quran. Read the Quran and the Quran will teach you. You're by yourself and you feel lonely. Read the Quran and you will feel that you are loved, that you have a friend in this world. Anytime you feel that you are in darkness, Quran is the light that will take you out of that darkness. Allahu Akbar Kabira. This is not just for Muslims. Even when non-Muslims hear the recital of the Quran, they say, there is something in these words that I cannot explain, but it has moved me deep inside. There was one scholar from Pakistan, and he wrote in his book that he met the great Qari of Egypt, Sheikh Abdul Basit Abdul Samad, and he asked him a question. And he said, in your whole life, you have dedicated it to the Quran. You have gone north, south, east, west, so many different countries. And you recited the Quran and you created that love for the Quran in the hearts of people. Tell me, is there any day or any event where you saw something amazing and you realized that this was the miracle of the Quran? So he said, there were many, but one stands out in my mind. Gamal Abdul Nasir, the president of that time of Egypt, this man was not a religious person. He was like a socialist type of person. He was a politician. He went to Russia to do some diplomatic dealings between his country and Russia. At that time, it was the Soviet Union. After their dealings, after everything, they said to him, you know, when we talk to you, we like you. You're just like us. You're a politician. You understand the world. You're not into your religion, but you still call yourself a Muslim. So why do you call yourself a Muslim? Why don't you become like us, communists? We don't care about religion. So now he's not a religious person. He doesn't know how to explain to them. When he came back to Egypt, he called for Abdul Basit Abdul Samad. And he said, you're coming with me. You're going to recite Quran to them. He said, Ya Allah, I'm going to recite Quran to communists. They don't understand Arabic. They'll probably be swearing during the recital. But now, what choice do I have? Gamal Abdul Nasir is also infamous for something else. Right? If you don't listen to him, he goes straight into prison and people start torturing him. So he has to listen. So he goes with Gamal Abdul Nasir the next prison. And at that certain moment, he said to them, you asked me last time that why is it that you're a Muslim? I've brought the answer to you in the form of this man. This man recites the Quran in the most beautiful way. I want you to listen to him, then you'll realize why I'm a Muslim. Sheikh Abdul Basit Abdul Samad, he sat there and he thought, Ya Allah. In his mind, he was making a dua that, Ya Allah, I'm going to recite the Quran because I love the Quran. But please don't punish me and don't be angry with me for any disobedience or disrespect that these people showed to the Quran while I'm reciting. The Shaykh closed his eyes, and the legendary way that he used to recite the Quran with long melodious voice, tears streaming down his cheeks, so much attention to the Quran. Eventually, after an hour or so, he opened his eyes. He see the communists in front of him, all of them, tears streaming down their cheeks. They were crying through the recital of the Quran. Afterwards, they were asked, why are you crying for? You don't understand Arabic. You don't believe in Islam or any religion. They said, we don't know. There is something magical, something powerful in this book that when we listen to the Quran, it made us cry. This is the power of the Quran, respected brothers and elders, that it has this effect on a non-Muslim, a secular communist who doesn't believe in Islam. And today, what is our situation? That sometimes we have stages like this, where a child or somebody is reciting the Quran, brothers are talking. We have tilawat playing in our houses, nobody's listening. We have masjids where an imam or the scholar of the masjid is having a Quran class, nobody attends. And yet this is the power of the Quran. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, يَرْفَعُ اللَّهُ بِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ أَقْوَامًا وَيَضَعُ بِهِ آخَرِينَ. It is through this book, the Quran, that Allah has lifted nations. And it is because of this Quran that Allah Ta'ala has demoted and destroyed other nations. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum, how were they able to conquer the known world at that time? They defeated two superpowers, not one. The Byzantine Empire and the Sassanid dynasty, destroyed both of them in a short amount of time. Historians find it very difficult to explain. But it is very simple. They got that power from Al-Quran Al-Kareem, from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That book, respected brothers, is the same book that we have in our hands today. No change. From Alhamdulillah to Min al-Jinnati wan Nas. The same Quran that was revealed upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the same Quran you just heard in the Salah. Same Quran that you heard this child recite. Same Quran, no difference. All the power is there, but who has changed? The Quran hasn't changed. We have changed. Read the Quran, learn the meaning of the Quran, act upon the Quran. The Quran will be your friend in this world. It will teach you everything that you need to know. As soon as you pass away, the Quran will be your friend in the qabr. The grave, my brothers, is a very terrible place. It's full of darkness. There is no light in there. It is tight and compact. You have no space to move. All the grave is full of is your hopes and dreams. I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done that. If only I had the chance to do this. If only I had the chance to do that. And the grave, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Rawdatum min riyadil jannah aw hufratum min hufarin nar. It is either a garden from the eternal gardens of paradise, or it is a fiery pit from the pits of hell. Allah. When a person passes away, and after their book name is written in the books of Illiyin or Sijjin, they are put back into the grave. And that's when the punishment of the grave comes out of hell, slithering and crawling towards that person. If a person had this attachment with the Quran, that they recited it every day, they made an attempt to understand it and to act upon it, attempt at least, then that Quran will be made into human form and sent into the grave. The punishment will come at the person's feet. This person will ward it away. The punishment will come at them from their left and right. This person will ward it away. The punishment will come at their head. This person will ward it away. The person in the grave will be so appreciative and so grateful and so thankful. He will say, "Glory be to you. Blessed be you this day. Who are you? Where did you come from? Do I know you?" The Quran will say, "I am the tilawat of the Quran. I kept you awake at night. I didn't let you sleep during the night time. You woke up at night to recite me. I kept you awake for hours during the day and you recited me because you were my friend in the world. I am your friend today." I will not let the punishment of the grave even touch a hair on your head. A person who has the kalam of Allah on their side, in the grave, they have nothing to worry. A person who went to sleep every night, reciting the Quran, waking up in the morning at Fajr time, reciting the Quran, during the day, whether they were working in their occupation, whether they were at school, college, or university, and they found little times where they thought, you know what, I have nothing to do. Let me recite some Quran. That as soon as you pass away, be rest assured, inshallah, you have a friend that will look after you after you die. But that's not where the friendship with the Quran ends. As soon as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order Israfil alayhi salam to blow the trump, to blow the bugle, and now all of humanity will be now recreated and resurrected. And each and every one of them will come crawling out of their graves with not a stitch of clothing on them, absolutely naked. And the angels will tell them, go to the field of resurrection. Some people will be taken there kindly because they were good people in the world and Allah loved them. But there will be other people, Allah forgive us if we have been sinful in front of Allah Ta'ala, that on Judgment Day they will be dragged out of their graves, kicked and punched and taken to the field of resurrection. Allah Ta'ala save us, Allah Ta'ala save us. As the people will be gathered there in front of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to be reckoned for, every person will be terrified. Allah Jalla wa Ala describes this image in the Quran. If we bother to read the Quran, we would see this. That a person's hair will turn white out of fear. A person will look drunk, but they're not drunk. It's because of the fear of the punishment waiting. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Even the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wassalam, when approached and says, please can you help me? All of the Anbiya will say, Nafsi, Nafsi, I fear for myself. Go to someone else. It's only Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam who will say, Ummati, Ummati, that I will ask and beseech on behalf of my ummah. A terrible day. يوم يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه وفصيلته التي تؤويه. A person will run away from his whole family, mom and dad, brother and sister, friend, and even the tribe. In fact, an evil person on Judgment Day will give all of those people to Allah Ta'ala and say, punish them, let me go. Allah Ta'ala says, Kalla, never. Why should I punish someone else for something you did? Innaha lada, this Jahannam's fire is blazing and burning. Nazza'atan lishawa, it will burn the fat of your body. No one's going to get off on Judgment Day. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Anyone who is fortunate enough to have someone to speak on their behalf on Judgment Day, they are fortunate. And do you know what? Allah Ta'ala will turn the Quran into a human being who will then go, and I'm not making this up, these are the words of the hadith. The Quran will go and argue with Allah. That's the word that comes in the Quran. Yuhajju. It will argue with Allah Ta'ala on behalf of a person. It will say, Ya Allah, you can't put this person in Jahannam. I'm not going to let you do that. The Quran will say that to Allah. You're not putting this person in Jahannam. I kept this person awake at night. He read me for hours and hours. You cannot put this person in Jahannam. You know, today we ask people, please make dua. Please make dua. You attach yourself to the Quran. The Quran will save you on Judgment Day because it's the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the thing that Allah Ta'ala loves the most. The people of the Quran are the people of Allah. Ahlul Quran hum Ahlullahi wa khassatu. The people of the Quran are the people of Allah and His most chosen servants. He loves them the most. Anyone who spends all the time reading the Quran, that person just gets closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyone who has the Quran on their side on Judgment Day, they have nothing to fear. But is that where the friendship with the Quran finishes? Last point. That friendship carries on into Jannah. Not just entering into Jannah. Once they are in Jannah, then Allah Ta'ala will say, Iqra, recite, wartaqi, and rise in the ranks of Jannah. Warattil kama kunta turattilu fi dunya. And recite in a slow, measured, melodious way, the way that you used to recite in the Quran, in the dunya. فَإِنَّ آخِرَ مَنْزِلَةٍ عِنْدَ آخِرِ آيَةٍ تَقْرَأُهَا. Because the last place where you will end up, that high, will be the last ayat that you recite. The Quran is your friend in this dunya. It will be your friend in the qabr. It will be your friend in the hereafter, all the way to Jannah. So those brothers who have become hafid of the Quran, you are more fortunate than any of us here. Because how many times for your new lesson, previous and revision, how many times you had to read that page over and over again? You didn't get it right. Teacher sent you back. You learnt it again. You came back. Certain parts became weak. Now you had to read. How much reward have you stacked up over the years? How many times have you read the Quran more than we have? Right? You are greater than all of the people here. But with greatness comes great responsibility. Right? A car that is fast needs solid brakes as well. So just because you've become hafid of the Quran, hafid means the protector. And the Quran is something, if you don't look after it, it will run away from you. Every single day. Just because you finished and you're not in hifz class anymore, right? No. Read your Quran every day. Read at least a quarter of juz to somebody every day. At least a quarter, if not more. Right? Ramadan coming, find some opportunities to lead Taraweeh. If you don't find the opportunity, either lead at home with somebody or stand right at the front saf and help the imams out with the corrections of the mistakes. Get involved. Anytime you get the opportunity to recite Quran, don't say, oh, I'm too shy. No, step up. You are hafid of the Quran. Right? Hafid of the Quran, that Quran knowledge is the greatest knowledge in this dunya. Greater than any course in university. Right? All the knowledge comes down. The knowledge of Islam is the greatest. MashaAllah, if you can join the two, then even more great. If you can become a hafid and a doctor, hafid and an engineer, hafid and any other occupation, and you do good, then light upon light, that's even better. But don't ever forget that nobility and that greatness that comes with the Quran. You are respected. People will say, Hafiz Sab, lead us in prayer. That's not a small thing. And the rest of us, I'm not only talking to these brothers who have become Hafiz. If you know Surah Fatiha, you're a Hafiz of Surah Fatiha. If you know half the juz of Juz Amma, then you are Hafiz of half of that juz. The aim is not to get to 30 juz. The aim is to put some Quran in your heart so you can take that with you to the grave. Right? So even if you know a handful of surahs, you're still a Hafiz of the Quran. Right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the Quran our friend and in the hereafter. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to understand. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallah bihamdi. Shadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah khairan. It's amazing nasiha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to do amal on what Muqtishabat advise us to do. Inshallah, we are now going to, inshallah, the students will complete their tape. Tonight, we have, mashallah, the Ustad Hafiz Mufassir Ahmed, also Ustad Imam Najmul, also Ustad Hafiz Sheikh Mu'in al-Islam and Hafiz Tanvir. Wait, I'm not Hafiz Tanvir? These are the four our hifz asatiza. Inshallah, can I kindly call now Inshallah Abdul Hamid? Inshallah, he will finish his memorization of the Quran.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. وعليكم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقالوا كونوا هودا أو نصارى تهتدوا قل بل ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. قولوا آمنا بالله وما أنزل إلينا وما أنزل إلى إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط وما أوتي موسى وعيسى وما أوتي النبيون من ربهم لا نفرق بين أحد منهم ونحن له مسلمون. فإن آمنوا بمثل ما آمنتم به فقد اهتدوا وإن تولوا فإنما هم في شقاق فسيكفيكهم الله وهو السميع العليم. صبغة الله ومن أحسن من الله صبغة ونحن له عابدون. قل أتحاجوننا في الله ولنا أعمالنا ولكم أعمالكم ونحن له مخلصون. أم تقولون إن إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط كانوا هودا أو نصارى قل أأنتم أعلم أم الله ومن أظلم ممن كتم شهادة عنده من الله وما الله بغافل عما تعملون. تلك أمة قد خلت لها ما كسبت ولكم ما كسبتم ولا تسألون عما كانوا يعملون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.